Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more r/Matter Butthole. And if you love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Let's dive straight into today's first story. Now, today's first story comes from Outside Sand 9921, does come with an update and it's titled, "Am I the arsehole for telling my boyfriend to stop treating me like an emotional support animal? I, 22 female, have been dating my boyfriend, 26 male, for almost 2 months. We've known each other for 3 years now. We are both from Asia and he moved to the USA for his master's degree in August 2021. I was aware that it would be a long distance relationship going into it. I'd never been in a long distance relationship before, so this is new to me. Shortly after we started dating, he started having fights with one of his close girlfriends. She told him that she wanted to stop being friends with him out of the blue. She had been through a bad breakup recently and he had supported her through it, but her refusal to acknowledge him or their friendship was hard on him. He tried to talk to other people in the same circle. They grew tired of the repeated discussions and told him that they weren't interested in discussing the same thing over and over and that he shouldn't take this to heart and leave her be. He's been depressed over this for about 1.5 months now. He's feeling lonely and feel that their friends chose her and abandoned him. All this while, I've tried my best to support him and be there for him. I've tried to be positive and cheerful and tried to cheer him up. I've had endless discussions about the same thing with him. All this exploded about 20 years ago. The said friend barged into his apartment and started berating him over how he was overly clingy and annoying and told him to grow up and accept that they aren't friends anymore. Both sides said terrible things to each other, and other friends have chosen her and told him that he shouldn't be so harsh considering she was having a difficult time. He's taken a turn for the worse since then. We have an 11-hour time difference. He wants me to stay up all night to talk to him because he is lonely. He wants me to stay on video calls with him while I work. I work 8 to 6, currently working from home as a software engineer. I stayed up for a while but told him that it's hampering my productivity at work. He was sad over me not talking to him all night. He wanted to have phone sex while I attend a call because it was thrilling. I said no, I want to focus on work. He wants me to talk to him whenever he is awake so he doesn't feel alone, which I think is impossible without sacrificing all my sleep. Yesterday, I had a particularly hard day at work and I had horrible period cramps as well. I was in mood to talk, but he wanted to sex with him. I told him that I was very tired and wasn't feeling very well emotionally either. He got mad at me because I couldn't stay up even on a Friday night to talk to him. He said, "That's why you've never been in a good relationship before. You never consider the other person. You are selfish." I told him that's all I have been doing for all while we have dated. I've been talking of you and your fights and your mental health. Stop treating me like I'm your emotional support animal. I have my life to handle. And he hasn't talked to me since. I feel terrible for my words, but I was overworked and tired and couldn't help it. Am I the arsehole? Now, when I read this one, I had to come back and read a certain section again. You know, shortly after we started dating, he started having fights with one of his close girlfriends, and she told him that she wanted to stop being friends with him out of the blue. She had been through a bad breakup recently, and he had supported her through it. And then it went on to say, the rest of his friends grew tired of the repeated discussions and wanted to separate as well. So I think that says a lot about what's been going on and how needy, and it may sound harsh, but sucks the life out of relationships just like that, like overly needy. And it's clearly happening over and over again, but with different people, and they've had enough of it, and of course you're going to get to that point as well. But Exact Roll 4048 says not the arsehole. The former friend appears to be right on the money when she says he's clingy. Your boyfriend wants you to jeopardize your job for phone sex. He clearly doesn't prioritize you. Prioritize yourself and cut him loose. Normal Height replies to that saying, "Yup, it's a repeated pattern with a former friend, the wider friend group that he wouldn't stop complaining to about his pain that former friend had broken the friendship, and again with OP, who he won't stop talking about his pain from the former friend and the other former friend getting tired of his constant complaining. He just cannot see past his own navel and expects everyone in his life to put him first." Respoken Text says, "You've known him for a while but haven't dated very long. Take a good long look at how others in his life are stepping away. He seems overwhelming, selfish, and pretty inconsiderate to your needs. Don't you think you deserve better? Not the arsehole." And OP replies saying, "Thank you for your opinion. To be honest, I am a little scared." He texts one of his friends among the circle. She said she didn't want to talk to him either, so he told her if tomorrow he kills himself, she'd have his blood on her hands, that she abandoned him and left him to die. He also suggested that without me, He'd taken drastic steps to harm himself, and I don't want that to happen at all. How do I set a boundary without hurting him so he doesn't take drastic steps? Massive Bookkeeper says not the arsehole, let this thing go. He sounds emotionally abusive. His circle of friends see it as he's obsessed with someone else anyway. Run away, take the no contact and use it to your advantage and block. One Hot Epileptic says not the arsehole, the relationship is one-sided. He seems content to take what he needs from people. Probably why his friend cut him off. You may want to consider doing the same. And one more from PDX Flower Power who says not the arsehole. I think you need to take a big step back from this relationship, OP. Your boyfriend sounds very overwhelming and incredibly needy. Honestly, it sounds like he takes up all the oxygen in the room, and this is why people are pulling away from him. I cannot imagine having to be available for this person 24/7, and it seems like you aren't allowed to have needs or feelings of your own. That's not healthy, and you made a very clear boundary. Good for you. He needs therapy. You need a break. So now let's move on to that update to find out what happened next. First off, thank you for all who gave me opinions, advices and support through comments and personal messages, and essentially opened my eyes to much more than what I was seeing. I've now broken up with the guy. I tried to stick by for a week or so to really see if things were that bad, but things didn't improve for my mental health. It in fact got worse. I became distant and cold, and it had to be addressed. I decided to break up to take care of my mental health. He did not take it nicely. He asked me why I am giving up on him. I said I am not, I am just prioritizing myself. He also claimed, you are being selfish, why didn't you think of me? When have I ever asked you to go out of your way and do something for me? Why am I treated like a burden? If you want less people, stop talking to XXXX, my best friend's name. And that was the last straw for me. I told him to stop because I didn't want things to turn ugly. I told him, let's not lose our respect for each other that much. I'm not going down to your level. And he hung up the call. So, yeah, that's about it. Thanks for all your help. I appreciate it. And again, in this one, I don't understand how someone can be like almost so clueless about what's going on around them. You know, their friend who'd broken up with someone didn't want to be around them no more. The rest of the friend group didn't want to be around them, and now their girlfriend was feeling the same. And instead of, reflecting and taking it on board, they just turned it on everyone else and blamed everyone else. Absolutely crazy. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. And our next story comes from a throwaway account, which was titled, Am I the Arsehole for wanting my mother to feel regret with her way of raising me? I'm 29 female, taking care of my mother 59 female. My younger siblings are still studying in uni. I'm the eldest as well, as the only one with stable income. I'm also helping to pay for most of the bills. My father died when I was 6, and my mother never remarried and worked hard to support all of her children. She's retired and wants to spend the remaining years with her friends and family. She lives with me. My relationship with my mother is tenuous. She raised me to be strong and was very strict with me. Let me preface by saying this, I will never blame her for working as hard as she did, because I recognize that her working was to support everyone, and that it was her way of showing love, by making sure that everyone had their basic needs met. I understand that even more now that I'm a working adult too. Now that she's no longer working, she can finally be present in our lives. She's trying to be around this time, taking plenty of pictures and videos. I know that this is her trying to make up for lost time, but at the same time I feel jealous, seeing my siblings getting the gentler treatment and more love than the indifference that I got. I did not even get any verbal congratulations for all of my achievements, no pictures, no videos, and yet my siblings got it all. It's not my siblings' fault, it's just my mother trying to be a mother and being terrible at it. It's such a shallow thing to get angry about, but even knowing this, I'm still so angry. So I've started being honest about my emotions and past experiences at home. I asked if she told my sister that she was worthless when my sister had her breakdowns, when she bought gifts for my siblings. I said, shame we don't have pictures of me in the album, one time when I was browsing albums with her. I made sure to only say these things when it was just the two of us around. My siblings were not at fault, they don't need to see me being hateful. It's just with my mum that I kept saying little things like this. I haven't returned home in nearly 2 weeks, just staying at hotels and going to work. After an argument with my mother where she finally had enough with my words. She said I'm not her daughter because no children of hers would ever make her feel terrible after everything she sacrificed for us. So I just left my house and told her she can bring whoever she wants to keep her company because I'm not coming home anymore, and that I'll still give her money so she doesn't have to worry about bills. Everyone is blowing up my phone now, saying I should apologize. My siblings understand, but they think I was too harsh with my words. I don't want to because I think I'm not in the wrong for airing my grievances. But now I've had some time to self-reflect, perhaps I was too harsh with my words. Reddit. I'm quite used to people being harsh with me, so don't hold back. Am I the arsehole for wanting my mother to feel regret? But Tree City Kitty says not the arsehole. I think it's time for you to separate from your mother and let her rely on herself and your siblings for support, both emotional and monetary. Your mother sounds like she doesn't recognize or refuses to recognize the difference in her behavior to you. You need to have a serious conversation about your childhood with her. Then, or before, you need to have a conversation with your siblings because they need to know how you were raised differently than them. And while you don't blame them, they shouldn't be blaming you for how the difference affects you. Twisty Heretic says, wait, she told you you are not my daughter while she, who is only 59 and already retired, is sitting on her tush in your home where you pay all the bills and expenses. You are not the arsehole. She's darn lucky you didn't say, well, I'm not your daughter. I have no reason to support your early retirement plan to mooch from me. You have 30 days to vacate my house. It's utterly insane that you're staying in hotels while she sits and does nothing in your house. Scarlett May West says, I am the oldest and had to do all sorts of things. Housework, yard work that my youngest sibling did not. I had to help take care of said sibling. I had to be perfect while my younger sibling got to screw up and keeps screwing up. I was told my mother was not interested in attending my wedding. She only did it because her sister forced her to. But 20 years later, made sure to fly across the country to attend all my siblings' pre-wedding events. She even embroidered tells with siblings' wedding date for all family members who attended. She made no effort to meet my oldest for over 6 months and then visited once a year until my siblings had kids. She flies to see them twice a year. I've tried talking to her. She tells me I am jealous and insecure, that she had more time and money for my sibling. So now I do not call her and her feelings are hurt. My kids do not contact her and she blames me. Therapy is helping me immensely. Wish I had done it a few decades ago. I suggest you find someone who can help you. You deserve to feel better, not the arsehole. A deleted user says, but you are not being honest with her. You're stating that you are, but you are not. You're being passive-aggressive around her and making passive-aggressive comments to her, hoping she'll get it. You can't make your mother feel regret. You can't push or guilt trip her into it. You can't use emotional blackmail by running away, hoping for the loving reunion that you're never going to get. Instead, you let it all build up, and it came out in a huge burst of resentment, and once more, you didn't get what you desperately longed for. Your mother probably thinks she did a good job just by working hard and putting food on the table. Perhaps she has no true inkling of how you really feel. Perhaps you facing her with all that was too much for her to consider, and so she lashed out. Have you considered that? And although you kept this from your siblings, they understand and support you right now. How do those two things tie in? You can't stay in a hotel for the rest of your life. You have to go home and sort this out. Just you and your mother. Calmly. You need to tell her all over again about how you feel and how you feel resentment and ask her to help you with this. If it doesn't work out, then please consider therapy. This is a lot for you to carry. A therapist will help you unpack it all and out it away again safely. You're doing your best. You're a good person. You haven't handled things so well recently, but only because you don't know how to do it properly. A therapist would also give you these tools. Not the arsehole. And one more from Naked who says, not the arsehole. Oh, OP, my heart breaks for you. I'm exactly the same. 31. My mother worked long hours. I raised my siblings as the oldest. Now that she's retired and has been present for my sister's teen years for the last 10 plus years, I see how differently they are treated, and it does hurt. While I know she worked to support us, it doesn't justify all the times she verbally abused because I forgot dishes in the sink while taking care of 2 toddlers all day, and the blow-ups I would get when I wanted to do an activity at school. You know, to be an actual kid. It's time to have a younger sibling take her in once they get out of uni. So now let's move on to that update to find out what happened next. Everyone helped me sort out my emotions, thank you. I decided to try one last time. This time, I won't be passive aggressive and brought my siblings and my paternal uncle to help me mediate. I returned to my home and finally sat with my mother and told her how I felt throughout the years. I told her that I only wanted to be acknowledged and not emotionally neglected, and that if she can be available for my siblings, then I hope she can try with me now. My mother refused to accept it. She refused to believe that she was partial to my younger siblings and that she only gave me tough love, that I was only hurting her by being ungrateful and that I truly am not her child. She accused me of turning my siblings against her, even with my siblings telling her the same thing that I did. She said that she only did it for us and that we all betrayed her by hurting her like this. My uncle sided with my mother, saying that while he understood my feelings, I should have just accepted everything and let bygones be bygones because she's my mother who sacrificed a lot for us. With that, I knew I wasn't welcomed anymore. I told her that she can keep the house and that I'll give her the money and pay the bills until the day she dies, out of respect for providing me with necessities until I was an adult. I told her I will move away and I won't come anywhere near her unless she's on her deathbed. I thanked her for raising me and left. I submitted my request to move my workplace to another branch so I can move to another state. I do not wish to be near my mother. I made sure my siblings will always be able to contact me if they need anything. I just signed up for therapy. I hope it will help. I'm sad that this will mean I won't have any parental figure anymore, but that's life. Edit. A lot of people are telling me that I should have just cut her off financially as well, but I cannot. Here, my siblings and I are legally required to take care of our elders, in this case, my mother. I'd be charged with neglect if I don't. My uncle, however, is not required to take care of her. He has his own nuclear family, his wife and kids to look after. I'm the only one among our siblings working and having a stable income, so responsibility falls on me to take care of her, at least financially. Once my siblings have a stable job as well, they will have to do the same. I find that amazing that OP, with that edit there, that they could be legally required to take care of the parents. I mean, even the way the mother's treating OP in this situation, she still has to take care of them. And just some questions for you guys in case you guys may know about it. But in this particular situation where it's not good for OP's mental health and they feel that they have to move out of their place, still pay for all these bills, which is not good for OP in the long run. They still have to legally take care of that person. Surely there's got to be a limit somewhere here. So now I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? How do you think that you would deal with it? Is there a different way of dealing it with these legal implications that are possibly involved? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for spending your time with me as always. Getting involved in the channel, your love, time and support always means the absolute world to me. Thank you so much for what you do, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.
Wake up, get up, stretch my legs, eat some breakfast, milk and eggs, brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go, see the sun shining from the windows.